You're listening to Entführung here on BBC Radio 3. We're being invaded. We are being invaded. It must be singers. They can never agree on anything. Hear all that shrieking. Evening. Good evening. This lot are as happy in a river shaft or asylum as a traditional performing space. Pop-up opera have popped in, and you are very welcome indeed.
Thank you for inviting us.
Clementine Lovell is sort of in charge.
Sort of, yeah.
You had the bright idea for pop-up, didn't you?
I did, yes. Yeah.
How does it differ from other operas?
Well, we wanted to make it enjoyable and inviting, especially for people who perhaps haven't ever been to opera. And we do that in two different ways. One is taking it into unusual spaces, and also just getting the story across through the acting, through the music, through using the captions.
Yes, that's what's supposed to happen on stage.
I think partly it's the intimate sort of spaces that we're in.
Crazy
and also,
spaces?
Yeah, crazy spaces.
Have you really
including
done a river tunnel?
Yes, we've done a tunnel shaft under the Thames. We've done caves, we've done barns, we've been afloat on the river. So, yeah, we've done all kinds of different spaces.
It must seem very tame coming into our humble studio.
It's an honour.
Sorry, I should have
No, we're delighted.
Flooded it or turned the lights off or done something.
No, we're very excited to be
here. Well, it's more anon, but it's very nice that you, of course, the music is as it should be.
Yes,
is good. I mean, you've got to keep that right.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really important to us to have a very high standard of music, and we do perform in the original languages, which we feel is really important. And we do actually believe that you can really get the story across if it is in the original language. It doesn't have to be translated into English.
Well, you're taking us to the Serail, the harem, as Mozart's opera is all about.
We
and
are.
These young ladies who've been taken away by a sultan.
We are, although
who tries all his charms to keep them away, but they don't want to give in.
No, although in our version it's more of a sort of hammam or health spa, Big Brother beauty boot camp.
Death by hot mud.
Yes, indeed. The tortures of an exercise
well,
regime.
Would you like to introduce your character? Because Constanza's here. You know, she's left her beloved behind. She likes the sort of Pasha figure, but she can't love him.
She does, but actually in our version, the Pasha is... So normally in the opera he's a spoken part, but in our version he is an unseen, all-seeing, all-hearing Big Brother type presence who speaks only through the captions. And but there is still that relationship between Constanza and Pasha. And his henchman, Osman, the lovers have to still get past him in order to escape.
Of course. Well, so who have we got? We've got, first of all...
So, first of all, we've got Martin Gessler, who's our bass, and Tom Morse, our tenor, and they're going to do the Bacchus aria. So, as I mentioned, they have to get past Osman, so part of the plan is to spike his tea with alcohol.
In the original, one of them being a good non-drinking figure, so
that's
Muslim
right.
figure.
So Osman, in fact, in ours, yes, he hasn't drunk alcohol before.
Okay.
But in our version, Pedrillo puts some alcohol in his tea, and it's our Bacchus brand.
Please, yes, you may listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Do not try it at home.
Bacchus war ein braver Mann, vivat Bacchus, Bacchus lieber, Bacchus war ein braver Mann.
Ob ich's wage, ob ich's trinke, obwohl sie ihm sehen kann.
Was hilft das Tauden, hinunter, nicht lange gefragt, nicht lange gefragt.
Nun wär's geschehen, nun wär's hinunter, das heiß ich gewagt. Es leben die Mädchen, die Blonden, die Blauen, die Blonden, die Blauen, sie leben hoch, sie leben hoch.
Das schmeckt trefflich,
das schmeckt herrlich. Das heiß ich Götterdank. Viva Bacchus, Bacchus, lebe Bacchus, der den Wein erfand. Viva Bacchus, Bacchus, lebe Bacchus, der den Wein erfand. Viva Bacchus, Bacchus, lebe. Es leben die Mädchen, die Blonden, die Braven, sie leben hoch. viva Bacchus, Bacchus lebe. Es leben die Mädchen, die Blonden, die Blauen, sie leben wohl.
Vivat Bacchus,
Vivat der Elefant,
Vivat Bacchus,
vivat der Elefant.
Thank you both very much indeed. Osmin and Pedrilla, Marcin Gesler and Tom Morse with Berek Dyer at the piano. She's a musical director, aren't you the musical director? You better come
She
say
is
hello.
indeed,
Yes,
yes.
come say hello after you've got your music sorted for the next time. Clementine will keep us going. Where you've been on the road quite a lot already,
We
haven't you?
have, yeah. We've been touring since the beginning of March, and we're doing around 25 shows this season.
Yeah, so what's the reaction been like?
It's been fantastic, actually.
So Euroline people to be quite chilled, aren't they, when they come in?
Well, partly it is giving them a sort of less formal setting to be in, but we find that they're so engaged by what's going on that they become really enwrapped in the story and listening to the music. And our audience is really broad, so it ranges from people who've never ever been to see opera before to regular opera goers and ages from 5, 6 up to 95, so, and everything in between. So
Ooh, no screaming, please, allowed.
No,
I don't
no,
think-
absolutely not.
So, Berek, what do you have at your command? Have you got to do all the music, or do you have a few musicians?
No, I've got to do all of the music myself, which I think is really great. It gives us a real chance to work together on ensemble with the singers, and also that stability that, you know, there's less variables in it, I guess.
That's true.
Especially when you're going into a new space every time. And
Are you getting a new piano every time, or do you take a travelling toothpick?
frequently I'm on a honky-tonk piano in the
She
corner.
loves it when we have a real piano, which isn't all of the time, but we're trying to find
Well,
more
listen, you were down a
venues
shaft
of piano.
somewhere. I can't imagine anybody lowering a decent piano.
It takes hours to get the Bechstein down there, yeah. No, in fact, we do take an electric piano down into the tunnel shaft. But
Yeah.
Berek makes it sound absolutely brilliant.
Does that give it an extra edge in a nice way, going to such a strange place like that?
Yeah,
Which is
it
potentially
does.
disorientating.
It is, but it keeps it fresh, you know, and the singers really have to be kept, they're on the toes, because although we've staged it in a rehearsal room, each venue is completely different, so the entrances and exits are going to be different, and we want to fill that
Yeah.
space and make it work in that
So
space.
you've got all the gear, you've got nice costumes.
Well, we work with what we have. You know, we don't have the budget of the Royal Opera House, and we don't want to try to be that, even though it's a wonderful organisation. But we're an unfunded company. We're reliant completely on ticket sales. So we also update the operas, although they're traditional operas we're doing, we try to update it to make it relevant to a modern audience. Yeah. So the costumes often are modern also. Although we have done Così in a sort of period Downton Abbey style.
Oh,
so
right, all right. Well,
occasionally.
anyway, no free eye masks or beauty treatments, I'm afraid, if you go along to this, even though they have a spa instead of a harem.
Yeah, just a few towels.
Constanza is with us. Eve Daniel, very nice to have you there. She's looking sumptuous in a very, very long evening gown. Diamante, crowns, everything. Everything a sultan
She
can
looks
lavish
like that
upon
all
her.
the time.
Well, I mean, you've got to be a diva in this sort of production. And this is where she's lovelorn, but sort of appreciative of this luxury, really.
She is. She's realised she's trapped, and she does long for Belmonte. So she is singing about him, really.
Ach, ich liebte, war so glücklich, kannte nicht der Liebe Schmerz. War so glücklich, kannte nicht der Liebe Schmerz. Schwor ihm Treue, dem Geliebten, schwor ihm Treue, dem Geliebten. Gab dahin mein ganzes Herz,
Bravo, thank you very much indeed. I think he heard you on a rowing boat somewhere out to sea. He had those last high notes and he's rushing into port. You will be saved eventually after a few more beauty treatments. Thank you, Eve Daniel and Barak Dyer from the Serail by Mozart. It's easier to say Serail, I'm afraid, than the German.
That's all right.
It's all right. Doing it the original language, which you
Yes.
say always.
Yes, we do.
That's a temptation not to do that, isn't it? To do an updated English version
Yeah, I
if
think-
you're going to strange places and
It
trying to
is
get new
actually
audiences.
quite often, but I really think that you can get the story across through the movement, the acting, and also we use captions, which are not every single line translated.
Yeah.
So instead of subtitles, they're more like a sort of silent movie caption, and we can add another layer of humour using those and play with the translation a bit.
Yeah, no, that's quite nice. Where does everybody spring from? Eve, come and say hello quickly. Now, you finished. I wouldn't have dared ask you before you did all those flying leaps. Are you actually still at college or not?
I am, yeah.
Wow.
I'm in the first year of my opera program studies, which is a 2-year course at the Royal Academy of Music. So I'm kind of a quarter done, halfway
There's
through the
a
first
slight
year.
colonial lilt to your voice.
You are hearing the Vancouver twang.
Ah,
I
that's,
am a West Coast Canada girl.
that's interesting. So why come here?
There's just so much going on in London. It's really hard not to want to be here when the population density and the established culture of music make there are just so many more opportunities so easily at your fingertips. Something like pop-up. It hasn't quite found its feet in Canada yet. So to be able to come to London, be a student and still get these incredible opportunities is really thrilling.
I'd quite like to pop up in Vancouver. All the pictures I see of it looks absolutely ravishing.
Well, when Clem's ready to take her there, all the company,
Absolutely.
I will happily
We're ready,
show
we're
them the
ready to
best
go.
places.
Okay,
I
right.
know many a bar in Vancouver. Sure, we could sing there.
I think we'll all be there. That's fine. That's a date. Well, it's wonderful to gather so bright talent like this together. And thank you all very much indeed for coming. What's the weirdest place you've sung in? Or either of you performed
Probably
in?
the caves 100 foot underground.
Where was that?
That was in the Forest of Dean.
100 feet
But also the
underground.
tunnel shaft, which we're performing in again next week.
Where exactly
the
is the
Thames
tunnel shaft?
which is part of the Brunel Museum in Rotherhithe.
Yeah.
And we're also at a great place on Sunday, the Asylum in Peckham, which is part of an old almshouse complex. So that should be a really good one at 5 o'clock.
I'm not going to say anything. You're really mad to go there. But anyway, nice acoustics.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
If you're going to go somewhere strange, you must make sure the acoustics are fine. Yes, very
Well,
good.
we have many different acoustics, yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us and for popping in. And we have one more before we go. Marcin is rising to his feet, and he is Osmond. He is possessed of a very splendid bass voice. And it's right at the beginning of the opera, I think, aren't we? When he's
Yes,
really...
this is when we're introduced to the character of Osmond, who is sort of the Pasha's henchman, and he's really establishing his world in this aria.
Okay, he says, you know, it's all very well talking about love, but you've got to be nice to them then, and give them 1,000 kisses. And
Yes, he's talking about the Pasha's women.
enviously...
He's
smirking.
he's warning off the young men who might come and tempt them away.
Quite. I wouldn't argue with you, Martin. Thank you.
Wer ein Liebchen hat gefunden, die es treu und redlich meint, lohn es ihr durch 1000 Küsse, mach ihr all das Leben süße, sei ihr Tröster, sei ihr Freund, sei ihr Tröster, sei ihr Freund, sei ihr Freund. Tra-la-lira, 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 tra-la-lira. Doch sie treu sich zu erhalten, schließ Liebchen sorglich ein, denn die losen Dinger haschen jeden Schmetterling und naschen, gar zu gern von fremdem Wein, gar zu gern von fremdem Wein, von fremdem Wein. Tra-la-lira, 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 tra-la-lira. Sonderlich bei Mondenscheine, Freunde, nimmt sie wohl in Nacht. Oft läuft da ein junges Herrchen, gibt und blot das kleine Närrchen. Und deine treue gute Nacht, und deine treue gute Nacht, gute Nacht, tralalira, 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 tralalira.
Thank you very much indeed, Marching Guests here. They're all smiling broadly. Thank you, Beric Dara. Thank you, all our singers. And Pop-Up Opera's production of Mozart, The Abduction from the Serail, The Asylum, Peckham on Sunday, then Hackney Wick, Brunel Museum Tunnel Shaft, the Great Lodge in Essex, and Court Gardens Farm in East Sussex. What a wonderful way to see the country. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks
The
for
best
having
of
us.
success. Well, you're not the only innovators, you know. Malcolm McLaren, punk icon, opera lover, died 5 years ago this day. You're probably too young to remember the album Fans. He really wanted to fuse 1980s R&B with opera. So here's Puccini, but not as we know it.